right, can I hear you? I can hear you. Can Streamlabs hear you? That's the question. Nope, they cannot. I think so. All right, now it should hear you. It's still not. No. It's still not hearing you. Hi everyone. Bear with us while we have fix these technical difficulties we are experiencing. Yeah. How did I fix this last week? Yeah, I don't know what the problem is. I had to do something. Oh, I know how I had to fix it. Hold on. Okay, I think I remember how I fixed it now. This is not something I wanted to deal. We were talking about other stuff before we went live. This is why we're dealing with this now, because we completely forgot this was an issue last week. Right. Enable. Okay, that should have fixed it.
Hello. Am I now audible?
Let me move this talk.
I'm saying things?
Yeah.
How about this?
Now we can
Perfect.
hear you.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be heard.
I'm going to have to fix that before tomorrow's show.
Oh, is it like a permanent fix? Like something that you could just do?
I hope so. Like, I need to figure it out.
Got it.
But yeah.
Well, anything I can do to help.
Yeah. Well, that's embarrassing for the one person watching right now.
Hi, person. Thank you. Appreciate you.
I'm going to record this just so we have it.
Oh, let me record that.
No, I'm not recording my audio. I'm just recording the video. Don't worry about it.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Because we're not putting this out as a podcast. This is a bonus stream. This is something we're just testing out the waters for. And yeah, I'm going to actually share the picture on Facebook quick. But yeah, this is just something that new that we're trying with us doing Lord of the Rings right now. There hasn't been a lot of time to talk about other things in our normal We Watch This segment. So we decided to take that segment and make it its own show again. We started off doing it this way when we started doing video.
It's kind of morphing all the way back to its original form.
Eventually, it'll just be me and Ryan in the closet again doing the podcast.
It just regresses. I'll move back out to LA. It'll be totally fine.
I wish you were living in LA. I would be so much quicker to go out there and see some shows.
But the West End, you could see Wicked or Six.
The West End doesn't have Drew Carey hosting The Price is Right.
Checkmate. I can't say anything to that. It absolutely doesn't.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, welcome to We Watch This, a spin-off show from You Have to Watch This podcast. I'm your host, Alan.
And I'm Devin.
And today we're going to be talking about some things that we watched over the last week on mostly television, and some other stuff thrown in there. Should we just get started?
You know what? I think we should. Hold on. Would you, Alan, call this a pretty decent week for TV? A lot of stuff's actually happened this week.
It's been a busy week for TV. That's why I figured this is a good week to start this, because not only do we have a series finale we're talking about, we're going to be talking about 2 series premieres.
Yeah.
And some other stuff sprinkled in there as well. So
bonuses.
Yeah.
A little bit of
one of those things sprinkled in there is a show that I have talked about before on the show, but I've watched more of. I'm officially halfway through it now. And I want to talk about it some more. And that show is The Sandman on Netflix.
I am so curious about this show, and I've wanted to watch it for quite some time, and I just haven't had the time to yet. I remember episode 1, you liked it. You said you didn't want to watch too much of it at a time, but you liked it. Where are you now?
I'm really enjoying the show. I am halfway through the season. So I think it's a 10 episode season.
Mm-hmm.
We are on episode 6, and we've pretty much finished Preludes and Nocturnes.
Really? So that's the one where he lost his helmet, his cape, his stuff, and he's getting it all back.
Yes. We pretty much have finished that storyline.
Oh wow! So are they fitting 2 in?
Yeah, they've been intermixing volume 2 in with the volume 1 so far. So there've been elements of both throughout this whole thing. They do, according to my wife, because she knows the Sandman comic better than I do. They're doing it pretty much issue by issue. There is whole issue there's a whole episode in the diner, if you know what that is.
That's exciting.
And we're on episodes. We watched the 24/7, which is the diner episode. And after that, my wife's like, I know what's next. We need to watch more. Can we watch one more episode, please? Because Death is her favorite character, and Death comes into episode 6, and it's a whole episode about Dream following Death as she goes around and brings people to the afterlife. And man, was it a gut punch after the year I've had. It was very emotional to watch, but very well done. Especially after the diner episode, which was like just anxiety fest. I really enjoyed the show is different every episode.
Okay.
Like the first episode is pretty much the prologue of him getting captured and losing his things, and then there's a whole episode where he's in hell. There's a whole episode with Constantine, played by Jenna Coleman from Doctor Who.
Really?
Yes.
That's fun.
I will say this is the one time I like her, because I did not like Clara.
Did you not like Clara?
I did not.
Oh, that hurts.
She came in the Sandman, and I just turned to my wife. I was like, I wonder how long it's going to take for her to fall in love with Morpheus.
How long was it?
Spoilers.
Minutes. Seconds.
Spoilers. But yeah, Sandman's really good. They did the whole episode. So the Sound of Her Wings was the Death episode. They split into 2 stories. They do the Death stuff for the first half, and then they do the Hob Gadling story for the second half. And that was just fun. So it was just like an overall, like, very good episode. In other Sandman news, they dropped a bonus episode last week.
What? Is it like after the final episode?
Yeah, it's a bonus episode that has James McAvoy, a whole bunch of people. Looking at the chat, Lupin is in this, but I keep referring to him as the Shame Monster from Big Mouth, because that's how I know him now.
What a really good way to have him.
Yeah. But yeah, he's very good in it. Everyone's good in this.
Who is Lupin in this?
He is. Let me remember. I'm horrible with names.
Especially in this series, because names get a little weird.
He plays. Where is he? John D.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, he's the one who has all the stuff.
That's a good. He plays a good villain.
He does. Everyone in this is good though.
Are they?
For the one episode, the bartender is like Ace Ventura's assistant from When Nature Calls. It's like, I didn't know that guy was still alive. Like.
So I read an article about Sandman not too long ago where it was like, can you appreciate Sandman despite the stereotypic Netflix look of it? And I don't know what it means, because I don't know what the Netflix look is, because I haven't seen enough Netflix originals to be like, I know that like CW shows have a look and a feel, and I can be like, CW, like almost immediately. Yeah. I can't do the same thing with Netflix. And the article was like, well, Netflix pushes a lot out. They got to look like this, man. I don't know what they're talking about.
I will say this show, I want to say it has the Netflix look to it. It's very Neil Gaiman. There are scenes from this that are ripped right from the comics.
Good.
They have shot it on anamorphic lenses. So if you look at the picture I have up now, like it has like a weird fish eye thing going on to it. at a certain
Oh,
point.
sure.
Um, but it works for what they're doing. Like the Batman had the same thing, kind of. But this is less extreme than the Batman. Like everything's that should be in focus is in focus. But no, I wouldn't say it has the Netflix look to it. The one thing production wise that I have noticed is I'm pretty sure Morpheus's dialogue, and I mean all of it, has been. It sounds like it's been re-added afterwards because his voice is so booming. That
is it
compared
supposed to be?
I think so. I think it's a choice.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just how they mic'd him. I might have to talk to my sound engineer friend and ask him what he thinks.
If only he was going to be within earshot very soon.
If only.
That'd be weird.
Yeah. But yeah, look wise, I think this looks great. There, like, part of me wonders if they shot this on a volume for some things, like the way it looks. Like, I think that might have been that, but Devin, if nothing else, you need to watch this for Matthew the Raven.
Matthew the Raven?
Yes.
Why? What's Matthew the Raven?
The Raven that comes around with Morpheus the whole time. Do you know who plays him?
No, I have no idea.
Patton Oswalt.
I'm turning it on right now. I'm actually stopping the podcast. I'm going to go turn it on right here.
No, you can't do that. I mean, you could, but then I'd just be talking to myself again. I've done that too much on this show recently.
I've done that too.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I highly recommend Sandman, and so does Neil Gaiman. Surprisingly enough, somebody asked he ran this show. Like this is his baby.
Oh, okay, good.
But somebody was asking him about season 2, and he said, if you've watched Sandman the whole way through, watch it again. If you've started Sandman and haven't finished it because life got in the way, go back and finish it and tell your friends to watch it. So this is me doing my public service to you, Devin. Go watch Sandman so it gets a season 2.
I mean, you had me at Patton Oswalt, to be fair. I mean, I'd always wanted to check it out, but I'm always really skeptical about things I like being adapted to television or movies.
Considering how big of a fan of this my wife is, I think you can go into this knowing that it's a good adaptation of the comic that you like. Yes. Yeah, because he was so involved in it. Like he made this show. So
good. I mean, I know people that have named their cat Death because of death in this franchise. Like, and that's so weird to me, but also like these characters are just so beloved, and it's good to see that they're doing it right.
Yeah. And it's not like in chat your wife is saying she would love to watch this. I don't know what your excuse is.
Wait,
really.
Would you like to watch this? Well, then let's watch get out here. Come out of that room and come watch this with me, dang it.
Not now. Stay on the stream.
Okay.
So yeah, those are my thoughts on Sandman. Devin, what have you watched this week?
Okay, we're going for a bit of a change this week. It's not TV. It's not movie. I was a fine patron of the arts this week, and I watched a play, and I wanted to talk about it. So the play is Madhouse by Teresa Rebeck. I saw it, and I saw it in West End. The thing that drew me to it, because let me run you through Teresa Rebeck's credits very quickly, and you'll go, oh, what drew you to this play? Teresa Rebeck is a well-known movie and TV and playwright. Some of the plays that she's been involved with are Our House, The Scene, Water's Edge, The Bells, Barnhart and Hamlet on Broadway. Some of the films she's been involved with are Harriet the Spy and Catwoman. An illustrious career. But the reason that drew me in was the play was starring David Harbour and Bill Pullman as both a father and a son. And oh my gosh. I mean, it was spectacular. So the premise of the play was that Bill Pullman's father is dying of, I believe it's lung cancer. And his son, David Harbour, who just returned from the quote-unquote madhouse or from a mental institution with anger problems, is the only one of his 3 siblings who's in charge of taking care of their slowly dying father. Their father was never really a good father figure. There was a lot of kind of family drama that came up. They are phenomenal. But honestly, as fun as it was to see David Harbour on stage, Bill Pullman stole the show. He was amazing. I mean, he was dying, so he had this like kind of like like coffee kind of voice, but he had the funniest lines in the show, and he like stole every scene that he was in. And even if he was just shouting from off stage, you're like, yeah, more of that, please. But it was so good. It had a really good like emotional like thread to it that was more than just watching David Harbour get mad at Bill Pullman being like coffee and dying. It was phenomenal, and I would see it again.
And it takes place in Pennsylvania.
And it takes place in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Does it say where in Pennsylvania?
Oh, it's like Moreland or something. I didn't catch. It wasn't like Newville, but they got some of the Pennsylvania things so right, it almost made me uncomfortable. So
That's fantastic.
I've owned a pair. So David Harbour the whole time was wearing a pair of navy blue New Balance shoes that I swear the prop department just took from my closet, and I'm actually really upset about it.
It's a weird thing about David Harbour because he showed up on an episode of Law and Order: Criminal Intent, and he was from Bloomsburg. And my wife and I are watching this. And she's like, he's from Bloomsburg? Like, so the detectives from New York go to Bloomsburg to his mom's house at one point. And she's like, why? Why is this happening?
Is he Pennsylvanian?
I don't think so. So it sounds like Bill Pullman's pretty much doing the same thing he did in Independence Day Resurgence. Is that safe to say?
Oh my gosh, I wish we had it. We bought the like book for it, like the playbill, and the picture of it was literally just him from Independence Day Resurgence. Like they just took a screenshot of the movie, didn't do new headshot or screenshots, but it was like that, but like to 11. Like he has like this like how this carer that comes that like is hospice care for him, and he like makes really bad passes at her the whole time.
Oh wow.
And like goes to grope her, and like at one point like David Harbour brings hookers. It's insane. But no, he was like that but turned up to 11 essentially. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
David Harbour was born in White Plains, New York, but he did go to Dartmouth, which also isn't in Pennsylvania, but he's around that area. He gets it.
Okay.
But yeah, highly recommend it if you're ever on the West End. If you're around, definitely go see it.
I'm actually going to stop the podcast now and get a plane ticket to the West End.
Do it. I'll vamp, especially about the last thing the second to last thing we have to talk about. I'll vamp all day about that, Alan.
Yeah. All right. So that's so that's it for things that we going into the show prep that I thought we had not watched together.
We have surprises.
Yes, Devin threw me for a loop here later on in the show. So right now we're going to go through the rest of the week in television and talk about things in order that they came out. And the next thing up on our list was last Monday was Better Call Saul's finale. I can't believe it's been a week already. It feels like a month.
Yeah.
It was a long week last week. But Better Call Saul has come to an end. Devin, what did you think of the finale?
So I don't know if Romana is still in chat, but literally I watched this on my laptop on the couch right over there. And when it was done, I just shut my laptop lid and had to go for a walk. Like it like ruined me. I absolutely loved it. It was brilliantly done, brilliantly put together. It was so I've been thinking about it. It's been in my mind like top of mind for the last week. And that sounds dramatic, but it's just where I'm at with it, honestly. What about you? Did you like it?
I wish I could have gone for a walk afterwards, because that would have been nice. Yeah. I had issues watching it because the AMC app just crashed for me halfway through the episode.
I'd be so mad.
So I had to like airstream it from my phone to my TV. But no, I thought this is a great finale. Very open-ended in ways, but also like very closed off in others.
Do we want to get into spoilers with it?
I mean, we might as well.
Okay.
So yeah, like it was very fast moving. I thought the whole episode was going to be him on the run, and it wasn't. It was the aftermath of him getting caught.
Mm-hmm.
which I appreciated. I like that it threw you for a loop right from the beginning. And there were some cameos in here that I wasn't expecting. Some that I
Yeah.
were, but I was not expecting to see Marie
No, me neither.
from Breaking Bad. Uh, because with Better Call Saul, it seems like that's out of left field. But when you bring it back into Breaking Bad, it makes sense that she's there. The Chuck cameo I thought was brilliant.
The way they used it with the time machine question.
Uh,
Oh,
and then
so oh
like,
my god.
and then after the fact, like I'm reading things about how everything in the finale was foreshadowed in that one opening where they are like taking all the stuff from Saul's house.
Really?
Yeah, you see the copy of the time machine. The cutout of Saul is thrown in a dumpster, and he's standing there with like his thumbs up.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Um. Yeah, I thought it was brilliant.
So I feel like the one cameo, if we could talk about the Bryan Cranston of it all.
Yes.
When he first showed up in this season, I was actually a little bit mad about the cameo because I didn't feel like it was earned. Because you had that scene where Saul Goodman was essentially kidnapped, and then there's Walt and Jesse, just do little Walt and Jesse, and like it didn't seem like it added much to it aside from fan service. But then the show made me bite my tongue and made me appreciate what they were doing when he kept bringing up that moment again and again. And I thought the way they did it was brilliant because the first time he did it, he was the victim, and the next time he said it, he's like, no, I made more money than I ever have on this, and like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it made it okay.
Um. What did you think of him at the end of this, just going to jail for 80 years?
Loved it. I mean, I feel like that was them showing that he's not Saul Goodman, he's Jimmy,
Yeah.
and
That
it's answering that question.
that switch, like when he has that
Yeah.
switch in the courtroom, like I was like, wow, like that blew me away more than anything.
Oh my god.
Because you expect him to
turned,
just do that speech again, but then he
mm-hmm.
turns it on its head and like just gives them everything they want.
And he looks at Kim while he does it, and it's so good. And then they have that like moment in the jail where like the only color that comes back in is the cigarette that they share. Like
Ugh.
they didn't have to go this hard on this episode, and I'm so like glad they did. But like I don't know, the last episode made me cry. That shot where they're both standing at each other, staring at each other, and it looks close, and then it cuts to the side view, and they're like, I don't know, 20 to 50 yards out.
Mm-hmm.
I lost it. I really lost it. Like I haven't been that emotional about an episode of TV in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, that moment in the courtroom where he switches back to Jimmy McGill,
Yeah.
like that. I read that as like a huge proclamation of love
Yeah.
for Kim, especially after everything that you saw Saul do to her, where he's just like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, bye, see ya.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love this finale. I'm gonna go back and watch Breaking Bad again, and then to start this over.
Are you? So
Yeah.
does this ruin Breaking Bad for you a little bit? Because the finale of that, like, Walt didn't really come to justice. He just kind of dies. Like, and he doesn't really get what he deserves, and Jesse just kind of runs off, and there isn't really as poetic of an ending to that.
Have you not seen El Camino?
Yeah, but I didn't internalize anything in El Camino. Like,
I didn't
I know.
either.
Yeah, it was fine. I know what happens to Jesse at the end of it, but I wasn't like, I never felt it was necessary. I wasn't like, yeah.
I mean, I think the Breaking Bad finale also has a bit of Heisenberg becoming Walter White again,
Yeah.
where this has the Saul Goodman becoming Jimmy McGill again.
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, I need to go back and rewatch the show. But
my take on it is that it asked the same question that Breaking Bad asked, where like Breaking Bad was, was Walter White Heisenberg the whole time, or did he become Heisenberg? Was Heisenberg inside of him the whole time, and he just needed to let him out, or was this something that kind of made him? And the finale definitely leaned towards, no, he was Heisenberg the whole time, even when he wasn't. He just let him out. And this finale made it seem like Saul Goodman isn't something that he was the whole time. He was never slipping Jimmy. He was so much more than that. He was slipping Jimmy. He was Saul Goodman. He was Jimmy McGill, and he could switch between the three. And in the end, you saw that he was able to effectively switch between the three, and he has them under control now. So he's Saul Goodman in the jail when it protects them. He's Jimmy McGill with Kim. So good. That's all I got. Grunting noises.
Do you want to see more from the Breaking Bad universe?
No.
You
I said that when Breaking Bad ended.
And then you got 6 seasons of Better Call Saul.
And I was so wrong. So I'm gonna put my stake in the ground and say no, and then they'll come out with, I don't know,
Huel.
Los Pollos Hermanos or something. Huel. They'll come with Huel. Yeah. That would actually be cool.
Yeah. That's our thoughts on Better Call Saul.
So
final run. Man, I kind of want to go back and rewatch the last season because there are moments that I didn't know were going to be the last moments for characters on this show.
Yeah.
Like Gus's last moment where he's at the bar. Like that's a whole different side of the Gus Fring that we never saw. And it's like,
it is.
That's the last time we see him on this show. It's like, oh man, like that's.
It really humanizes him in a way that the show, like the Breaking Bad, never did.
And I didn't put it together that was the last time we saw him until the finale. Like I was like, yeah, he's not in this again.
I didn't realize until you said it.
They brought back Mike.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what else to say.
No,
well
it's
done,
phenomenal.
Vince Gilligan and company.
Good job.
All right, now keeping it in the lawyer vein, let's talk about She-Hulk.
Alan, did you know that she was going to break the fourth wall in it?
Yes, I did. Did you?
I had no idea. No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really caught me off guard.
What'd you think of that then?
I loved it. I think that might be, I don't know. I like it when fourth wall breaks are done well. And I like that she was like, all right, look, you're not going to pay attention to the lawyer stuff until I tell you this other stuff. And I'm like, you're right. I'm not. And then she switched over and it was wonderful. Romana turned the show on and she goes, I want to watch this because she watched Miss Marvel and is now like all back on the Marvel kick. I'm not. So she's like, I'm going to turn this on and if you want to watch it, you watch it. And I had so much more fun with it than I thought I would.
I think you would enjoy Ms. Marvel.
I'm sure I would.
But I think this She-Hulk episode was a phenomenal premiere and introduction to the character and a great origin story. Because this is the secret origins of She-Hulk. So
do you know much about this character aside from what's on the TV show? Like, did you get the history of her before? Or?
I mean, I know she's a lawyer. I know she deals with superhero legal stuff, and she breaks the fourth wall in the comics. That's all
does
I
she?
know. Yeah. She did it before Deadpool. So
what?
Yeah.
Oh shoot! Because now it's opposite. It's like, oh, she's doing a Deadpool, but it was so well done, I didn't mind it. But I didn't know it was her first.
Yeah. This show was just so funny. Like I was laughing the whole time. Yeah, the CGI looks phenomenal. I think that first trailer where everyone was giving them crap for it, I'm like, it's a trailer. The show doesn't come out for another 3 months. It's not going to be finalized. Like, calm down.
It's going to be a bit rough. What didn't they like? Was it her?
Her. Like, she did not. Like, people were saying that she looked like she was from a PS2 game. I'm like, no. This is a teaser trailer. Right. All the special effects artists on the internet, like, gave it hell. Like, all of the people who've never worked in After Effects or even Premiere were just, like, ripping it apart.
Listen, I've played around with Microsoft Paint and have played a PS2 game. Therefore, I'm an expert.
Yes.
Gross.
So beyond the fourth wall breaking, did any moments stand out to you in this?
Yeah. Steve Rogers isn't a virgin. This is like things I need to know. This is like important information here.
I don't care enough about Steve Rogers' virginity.
Oh, I do. 100%.
Call me unpatriotic, but
no, 100%. Because I was like thinking about it. I was like, is that Natalie Dormer's character? Was it that one?
It's either Natalie Dormer's character or the character who's played by the actress who plays Star-Lord's mom.
Oh yeah.
And then maybe Steve Rogers is Star-Lord's actual grandfather, maybe. I don't know.
That would be funny.
I'm hoping it's Natalie Dormer's character because I don't like the whole Star-Lord is Captain America's grandson BS on the internet.
Wait, there's a theory about that? Like, that's real?
Yeah, that's an actual fan theory. It's a fan theory. It's not canon.
Oh, okay. I thought you were coming up with that, and I was like, that is incredibly clever of you, Alan. Good job.
I mean, thanks, but no, the internet, like, I'm against it. Like, no, let's not do that.
Yeah.
The internet on this show, though, is already pissing me off because
a
lot of people,
gross?
They are being gross. People don't like that she talks about having to deal with controlling her anger on a daily basis. I'm like, that's her story, dude. Like, that, if that's the life that she's experienced, you cannot question that. That's how she's had to live her life. Like, that's not up for debate. You might not agree, you might not see that, but that's what she's had to deal with. Like, that's her story to tell. Like, that's what
strange
that is.
I loved it. I loved that part. I thought that was really a good point. Like,
yeah, but people are just like, oh, it's so woke and blah 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 blah. Shut up. Just no. It's
Aww. They got their little feelings hurt. It's adorable.
Yeah.
No, I like that a lot. I think that was a cool aspect to it. I think that it added a different twist to the character where, like, she didn't have to go through the same, like imagine if this series was like her trying to do the same thing Bruce Banner did for the last couple of movies. Like, get boring, and that's honestly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Bruce Banner in this, though, man, I was not expecting the small moments of just like bringing up Tony Stark to hit me in the heart.
Yeah.
But oh man, some of my favorite moments in this show, like small moments, like I think Jennifer Walters is fantastic. I cannot wait to see more of her in this show. I don't know how much more of Bruce Banner we're gonna get, so I enjoyed every moment that we got in this episode. Starting with the moment after the car crash where he's like half turning into the Hulk and it looks like the Incredible Hulk from the 70s. Like, it's him turning, like, it's Mark Ruffalo turning green. It's like, oh man, that's such a great callback to that show. I thought the way they did it, her getting the powers of the Hulk was good. I completely bought it. It didn't seem forced at all. It made sense. But my biggest question out of this finale is, why was there a Sakaran ship on Earth? Like, what is going on there? That's what I was
going to ask. Yeah.
Like, people are saying that they're setting up World War Hulk, and I'm like, I hope so. Like, that'd be fun. But another part of me is like, Chekhov's gun. Why would they put that in She-Hulk and not address it here? Like, I'm wondering if down the line, because I've heard rumors of this, and I kind of hope it's true that Hulk turns out to be the villain in this, and like maybe the Hulk comes back, like not Smart Hulk, but like angry Hulk.
Oh, that's very cool. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like they're hinting at, like, they're definitely trying to remind you of Sakaar and his time on there, because like at the bar in the back, he had like one of those like green like Hulk pinatas from Sakaar too. I watched a video about things that you might have missed, which is why I'm picking out these details. I'm not this keen-eyed typically.
Yeah, like I want to know what's going on with that. Like, are they just setting up World War Hulk? What's going on there?
Treat me like I'm dumb. What is World War Hulk?
It's a comic book where Hulk is banished from Earth and pretty much has to fight other Hulks on a different planet.
Isn't that kind of what? Thor, Love and Thunder. Okay, not Love and Thunder. The other one.
Ragnarok. Yeah.
Yeah, Ragnarok. Yeah.
Kinda, but more Hulks.
So like, but in these universes, you have to like hop on another planet and make more Hulks, or like, did they take his blood and?
There are other Hulks already. I think. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the story that well, but
got it. I mean, it makes sense though. So I think that if this was the most we saw of Bruce Banner, I think it's a good introduction, and it helps people like me that are like, well, am I ready for a new Hulk? Is my heart ready to go on? It's a good introduction of like, okay, she's good now. You can be okay. 'Cause I loved her. I love this, and I think it is very like that courtroom scene with her. I think like give me that, and I'm very happy.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I'm excited for more courtroom stuff because I know from the trailers that they get more into that. She
Cool.
goes from being a DA to being a lawyer for superheroes.
Oh
What else do you know about She-Hulk, Devin? Do you know anyone else who shows up in this show?
no, I knew that
Okay.
the one villain that was there is supposed to be the villain, and I didn't know she would show up like she did, and she'd be done like she was. That's the only thing I know is I know that actress from The Good Place is in here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I'm not going to say anything else because
No,
if you didn't know it was a fourth wall breaking show, then I'm going to leave the rest of it for you to find out later on. And
I mean
so
I'll be keeping up with this show. I'll watch it week on week.
so
Well,
you'll be blindsided by it. Okay.
was
Move
it fun?
maybe. Well, you have to
Oh
find out.
dang it!
All
Ah,
right. Moving on to our next topic, which is Game of Thrones House of the Dragon,
good. Okay.
which I thought both of us were watching for this.
Let your anger flow. All right, so I'm gonna preface this right away. Is I did try to watch this. I very much did, and I didn't get even to the point of clicking play because I'm that upset and that pun intended burned by Game of Thrones. I cannot bring myself to watch this, and I don't want to give it its viewership numbers because I don't want them to think that this is something they can keep doing. For me, this is like Joey with Friends where they were like, here's this thing, you're gonna love it. And I'm like, I don't want any more. I know where this world is going. I know where this universe is gonna end. Sure, you'll give me great drama here, but if it's gonna have the same kind of ending or the same kind of payoff, or even if that's what's happening 200 years down the line, I just don't want a part of it. Like, I'm so burnt. I feel so burnt by this series.
Dracarys. Uh,
Yeah. So you did watch it though.
I
Did you
did
at
watch
least
it.
did you at least have the same trepidation going into it that I did?
I
Or were
had
you
the same.
like,
I had the
yeah,
same trepidation watching it. I was like, I don't know
oh, did
about
you?
this. Yeah,
Really? Okay.
I only watched it for this because I thought we were both watching it so we could talk about it for a long time. But I completely understand where you're coming from because I am there
Yeah.
too. Game of
Okay.
Thrones came and went like crazy when it ended. Like everyone forgot about it. No one cared anymore. Like everyone was just like kind of, even if you liked the finale, you're just kind of done with it. Like it just disappeared
Yeah.
from the pop culture completely. And then this comes back on, and like I haven't heard anyone really talk about this. Like you and I have been talking a lot about Lord of the Rings because of that show coming out in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't really think anyone was getting into this, but I saw a video earlier today of somebody standing outside of an apartment building with facing all of the windows,
Uh-huh.
and you could see all of the TVs synced up to this show. Like everyone was watching this. Like almost every apartment that you could see was watching House of the Dragon. And I was like, okay,
Wow.
we're back into this. And the first episode, they do a very good job of establishing where you are in Westeros' timeline.
Yeah.
It's 200-ish years before
Mm-hmm.
Game of Thrones. It follows the Targaryens, but you get to see Starks and Baratheons and all of that fun stuff.
And this is essentially in everyone's heyday. I mean, this is when the Targaryens have their dragons. This is when, the Starks are like truly like, kings of the north, but not really. But
yeah,
like,
yeah, like there's peace in the realm,
yeah.
to a point. But I have some issues with this show.
Tell me all of it.
One, it doesn't have the same. So the first episode of Game of Thrones, what drew me into that was how it ended, which is
With Bran.
Jaime Lannister pushing Bran out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god, they just killed a kid. What is this show? This show doesn't have that. I think it tries to have that a little bit, and it doesn't. Like, knowing what happens in Game of Thrones, like, kind of takes that moment away from this. Because there's a moment where the king says to his daughter, like, there's this prophecy. It's called the Song of Ice and Fire. And I'm like, and
Oh,
it's
gross.
all, yeah, it's pretty much,
Oh.
yeah. So like you have to make sure you can keep all the houses together so we can fight this evil that is coming from the north. And I was like, I know how that ends though. Like
Yeah, right. I know what that's gonna. It's gonna be Bran again. Great.
the other thing is like I've seen dragons fly over King's Landing already, and last time it didn't end well. So it kind of brings that taste back in my mouth. That it
What does it? Okay, so does it do anything new and surprising? Because Game of Thrones, at its core, is a show that's meant to surprise you in some of the weird and wonderful directions that it goes in. It's meant to shock you by how far they'll go with some plot lines, by characters not having plot armor, by people backstabbing people. That's what hooked you at Game of Thrones. And honestly, that's what this show needs to do in order to get its fan base back. And say, remember what you liked. Here that is again. But by the way, we're not going to fuck it up this time.
I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this on the internet. There is a scene. So the whole thing is the king doesn't have a male heir. So he
Okay.
In the line of succession is his brother, played by Matt Smith, which I'll get into.
Good.
His wife is expecting. They're having this whole tournament because he's expecting to have a son.
Sure.
And they show you the childbirth, and
Oh.
the child's in breach, and it doesn't go well, and you get to see a lot of it, and
I've heard.
it is hard to watch. And it's also intercut with like a jousting tournament with Matt Smith jousting.
What?
Yeah. So it doesn't shy away from the gore of Game of Thrones. But I feel like the magic, like having dragons in the first episode kind of takes away from what Game of Thrones was.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have dragons in the first episode. They came later, and then like it just.
Well, and they became literally like nukes. Like they were like, oh wow, no, like sure, the Dothraki have their horses, and that's great, but she's literally got dragons. Like, yeah, you can do your boats. She's got dragons. She's coming, and that was like the big threat.
Yeah. But in this, it feels like the villain in this is going to be Matt Smith.
Really?
Yeah. And I just don't like Matt Smith. Like nothing against the guy personally, but I have not seen anything that he's been in and been like, you know what? You go, Matt Smith. I'm just like, eh. Even his doctor. Like I watched his doctor and I was like, not my favorite. He's in Morbius. Not a fan.
Oh wow. I'm like furiously searching for like Matt Smith vehicles because I feel like I've seen him in a couple other things that I liked. I liked him in The Crown. I did like him in The Crown.
I haven't seen The Crown.
He plays a young Prince Philip, which is Prince Philip's kind of a not great person, and he's kind of not great.
My problem is they're trying to make him to be the big bad of this show, and I just don't know if I buy it from this first episode.
Sure,
like, he's trying to be all evil, and I haven't bought into it yet. Like, I'm not going to watch this show for him. There is one reason I will watch the show, though.
Tell me.
The Hand of the King is played by Ralph Fiennes, the guy who played the Lizard in The Amazing Spider-Man.
That's exciting.
I did not know he was in this show, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll watch it.
So will you keep watching the show then? Is this something that you want to see more of, or?
I feel like I'm going to do the same thing I did with Westworld this season and watch it periods at a time when I have nothing else to watch. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch this week to week.
I don't know that I can. Like, I will now watch episode 1 out of sheer guilt because you expected me to watch it and I didn't. So I will put in the time so we can have a talk about the more specifics. Know that I'm coming at it from the worst possible place that it could want us to come at. But I feel like the show knows that some of its fan base is going to be at my point. Right? Like, do they at least start it off in a cool way to be like, okay, welcome back. This is what you like and not what you hated.
Yeah, they do a whole prologue where they talk about, like, they pretty much set up where we are.
Okay.
it doesn't just jump into it. It's like a few years ago this happened. This is the outcome of that. Here's the show.
Okay.
And these are the repercussions of that decision down the line.
Okay. Is Matt Smith isn't the Mad King, is he?
No, this is before the Mad King.
Oh, this is even before that. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like this would probably be the Mad King's grandparents, at least.
Okay. And this is before the whole dunk and egg thing, right?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. There's a short story or a compilation of like short stories that George R. R. Martin does called A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and it follows a Targaryen and his big burly like bodyguard guy, and one of them is Dunk and the other one is Egg, and I feel like Egg is going to be the Mad King, and that's kind of where he was driving it. So this must be before that too.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is based on the book Fire and Blood that Martin wrote.
Got it. Okay. I know exactly where you're at then. So, I used to be so into this. I used to know all of this by heart and all of the houses
and there are moments of this where they walk through the castle at King's Landing and like you'll see like, oh, that used to be the war room where they had the map on the floor, and like there's little moments like that. The Iron Throne's a lot smaller in this than it used to be.
Well, that makes sense then, because they're building it up.
Yeah.
Is any of it nostalgic in a good way for you? Like, oh, I remember like really liking this.
The only thing that really got me into it was the music, because you hear the ba 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 da da, da, like they bring in the theme towards the end. It's like, okay, like that might make me watch it, but I'm still not 100% on board.
I can get that. I mean, it's where I'm at with it, to be honest. I'll watch it. I don't know that I'm going to watch it week on week. I don't know that I'm going to get past episode 1.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you watched it. Thanks, Alan.
I'm glad you're glad. Okay. So that does it for our main topics for tonight. Before we wrap up, I want to talk a little bit about a show that you and I have both been watching. Are you caught up on this show?
I'm not, but talk away.
Oh, you're not? Well, then what's the point of talking about it?
I want to talk about it.
Okay.
Because I love the first season.
Okay. So how far are you into the second season?
0 episodes.
You haven't watched any of the second season?
None of it. Not a one.
Then I don't know. I was going to ask you who you thought did it. So this is also, you misunderstood the assignment, man.
I did. No, but listen. I want to know, did it hold up as well as season 1 did? Season 1, I thought, was interesting in that every episode was a little bit different. They had the episode that was starring the hard of hearing, the deaf person, that was very different. They would change form and format for some episodes. And does it continue that theme? And does it start to feel like gimmick in season 2? Or is it as artistically well done?
It's still as well done, I think.
Okay.
It takes a long time for you to figure out who is behind everything, and I think that's intentional. And like tomorrow's the finale, and I still don't know 100% who did it, because there are things that don't line up for me. But I think the journey that this season has taken has been just as entertaining as the first one. Martin Short and Steve Martin are phenomenal. I think Selena Gomez is a fantastic actress, and folds right into their dynamic that's been going on for close to 40 years fantastically. Nathan Lane still shows up in this.
Good.
There are some great guest stars this season. I'm kind of mad at you now because you get to watch the whole thing top to bottom without weeks in between.
But does that ruin it a little bit? Like, was it fun to like, oh my God, and then have to wait a week and not be like, oh, I'm just gonna play the next one?
Yeah, because at the end, like 3 episodes into this season, I got my wife into it, so we went back and watched season 1, and then I paused season 2 until she got caught up. So then we were able to watch it together. So yeah, like being able to like talk about it, like what do you think is going on? Like Like, what do you think's going on with this? What do you think that means? And all that fun stuff.
Because that's kind of like the whole like WandaVision thing too, right? Where like part of the fun of WandaVision isn't going back and binging it. I'm not gonna ever binge WandaVision, but part of the fun was like, what was that? Why was there that helicopter there? Or like, what did you think it meant when that happened? And like, and learning like as a society collectively, like what things were was so fun.
Yeah. No, I enjoy the week to week stuff. Like I said, I don't really binge stuff anymore that I care about.
Right.
Like I'm usually taking my time with it and savoring it. But like House of Dragons, I'll binge the hell out of.
Just to get it done.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you should watch this.
I will. I will. I mean, it's the weird position because it's Ramona, Beck, and I here, and Beck hasn't seen any of it, so I feel bad turning on season 2. But it's so high on my list. This one and The Boys season 3 are so high on my list to watch.
Oi.
Did you finish season 3?
Yeah.
Is it good? I know we don't have a graphic for this, and this is unexpected, but
no, The Boys season 3 is it's good.
Yeah.
I'm over the Homelander stuff. Like
Are you over it?
I want them to just get a new villain. Like
yeah.
But I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have much to say about it. Like it's something that I watch, but I don't really get excited about. Like pop culture, I need to know this. So.
Mm-hmm. So with all of this, we talked a lot about TV shows. This is an unexpected question. I don't even know that I have my own answer. What was your favorite 2022 TV show so far? We are 6 months in. We've talked a lot about shows you would recommend. We talked about shows that I would recommend. What is your favorite TV show that you've consumed so far?
Probably Only Murders.
More than Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul is like prestige television. Like Only Murders in the Building has that prestige too, but it's a lot more fun and lighthearted, even though it's about murder.
Right.
But so I think it's that because I just enjoy the way they tell the story. Better Call Saul is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I think favorite wise, I watch Only Murders in the Building because it's fun. Like I enjoy the show, I enjoy the actors. Better Call Saul I watch because it's must see television. Like I enjoy the acting, I enjoy the everything that goes into that show, but at the end of the day, it's not that fun of a watch compared to Steve Martin Short making there's a joke in the one episode. Martin Short's son is directing a stage play for kids doing the Wizard of Oz. He talks about Dorothy being upset that Scarecrow is being played by a typical actor.
Okay.
Like doesn't have not on the spectrum at all, and Martin Short's like, meh, well, she has a point. Like it's the Scarecrow, and it's just a small moment, but I'm like, I lost it at that moment. Like, I think Only Murders.
That's really fun. Mine, Better Call Saul's. I have what you have, where it's like prestige TV. It's like must see TV. There's one show that I've been thinking about that I watched early this year that I just kind of want to revisit because I loved so much, and I don't usually rewatch TV shows. Yes.
Peacemaker?
Yeah. Is Peacemaker? I literally Googled it right there. I love it. I kind of love this show. I thought it was amazing, and I never thought I'd love a DC property this much. But I'd watch so much of that again.
And I think a lot of that has to do with just the charisma of John Cena.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
because he chews scenery in that show, like almost every frame he's in. It's so good.
Not to take away anything from the writing of James Gunn, but yeah, no, I think at the end of the year we'll have to rank our favorite TV shows of the year.
Yeah, because we're 50% of the way through the year now. We're pretty close.
We're over 50% of the year.
Don't do that. Don't do that to me. Someone had mentioned that September's like next week. I'm not ready.
School started here today.
Did it really? Ooh.
In my town, yes. Our former school district starts Wednesday.
That's still disgusting.
Only know that because I ran into a former teacher at the grocery store. But yeah. Okay. Anything else we want to talk about before we wrap this up?
Do you want to plug tomorrow?
Well, obviously, we're going to plug tomorrow. So tomorrow, Devin and I will be live here again on Twitch, YouTube, and our Facebook page, continuing our journey through Middle-earth, where Devin has me watch Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers for the first time. And we will be joined by a special guest. A friend of the show, Mike Moen, will be joining us. Mike is a film sound specialist. I don't know exact sound engineer.
Guru is what you want.
And he is a big Lord of the Rings fan, as my DMs pointed out to me yesterday, and why he is on the show. So to see those messages, check out our Instagram and Facebook pages. I'll be posting those probably here tonight. We'll be live tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern, talking about Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. In the meantime, you can listen. You have to watch this podcast, or at least our normal shows, wherever you get your podcasts. Or you can check out the Rum Runners Podcast Network website for our show and all the other Rum Runner Podcast Network shows. Until tomorrow, for We Watch This, I'm Alan.